morning. I am Dr. Munmun Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Bosundhara Addin Medical College. Now, I am going to discuss cell membrane transport. Transport of the substance through the cell membrane from the inside to outside or vice versa in our body is called cell membrane transport. And this is the classification of the cell membrane transport. Cell membrane transport is classified into the micromolecular transport and macromolecular transport. This micromolecular transport is further divided into the active transport and passive transport, and passive transport is further classified into the osmosis, diffusion and filtration, and active transport is classified into the primary active transport and secondary active transport according to their source of energy. So, active transport is classified into the primary active transport and secondary active transport on the basis of source of energy, and this secondary active transport is further classified into the co-transport and counter transport on the basis of direction of transport. This is overall classification of the cell membrane transport. Now, I am going to discuss what is active transport and what is passive transport. Let us first keep in mind these three criteria. Number 1 is concentration gradient. Number 2, with the help of carrier protein. Number 3 is with expenditure of energy. Please keep in mind these three criteria: concentration gradient, with the help of carrier protein and with expenditure of energy. In these three criteria is present in active transport, that is in active transport concentration gradient is, that means movement of molecule against the concentration gradient, and with the help of carrier protein is needed in active transport, and with expenditure of energy is also needed in active transport. And in case of passive transport, concentration gradient is along the concentration gradient, that is movement of molecule along the concentration gradient, and in this passive transport with or without help of carrier protein. That means in passive transport carrier protein may or may not be needed, and in passive transport there is no need of expenditure of energy. Expenditure of energy does not needed in case of passive transport. If I keep in mind these 3 points, then we can tell the definition of active transport and passive transport. Now, I am going to tell definition of active transport. What is active transport? Transport of molecule or substance against the concentration gradient, that is low to high, with the help of carrier protein and with expenditure of energy. This is active transport. And what is passive transport? Movement of molecule along the concentration gradient, that means high to low, with or without help of carrier protein. This is passive transport, and in the passive transport there is does not needed expenditure of energy. This active transport is classified, previously I also told active transport is divided into the primary active transport and secondary active transport, and this primary active transport and secondary active transport is divided into the primary active transport and secondary active transport according to their source of energy. That means in case of primary active transport, energy is derived directly from the ATP, and in secondary active transport energy is derived other than ATP. That means secondarily ionic concentration gradient, which is secondarily created by the primary active transport. So, secondary active transport source of energy other than ATP, but in primary active transport source of energy directly from the ATP, and secondary active transport other than ATP. Now, I am going example of the primary active transport. Example of primary active transport is sodium potassium pump, and this sodium potassium pump is very important to know about details of sodium potassium pump. This is the picture of sodium potassium pump. Sodium potassium pump. What is sodium potassium first? First I told the structures of the sodium potassium pump. Sodium potassium pump is a globular protein and it is composed of two globular protein, that is alpha globular protein and beta globular protein. In the alpha globular protein, in the inside of the this is the cell membrane, this is the inside of the cell and this is the outside of the cell. In alpha globular protein intercellular site, it has 3 receptor site for binding of sodium, and outside of the alpha globular protein, outside of the cell, it has 2 receptor site. It has 2 receptor site for binding of potassium, and inside of the sodium binding site there is presence of ATPase enzyme. When sodium bind with this carrier protein and potassium bind with this carrier protein, ATPase enzyme is activated and which causes breakdown of ATP into ADP and inorganic phosphate, that means high energy phosphate, which causes extrusion of 3 sodium ion from inside to outside and 2 potassium ion from the outside to inside of the cell. This is the mechanism of the sodium potassium pump. Further I repeat, that is sodium potassium pump is a electrogenic pump and it is composed of 2 separate globular protein, alpha globular protein and beta globular protein. Alpha globular protein is large and it has 3 receptor site intercellularly for binding of sodium, and it has 2 receptor site extracellularly for binding of potassium, and inside of the sodium binding site there is presence of ATPase enzyme activity. When sodium bind with their receptor and potassium bind with their receptor of this globular protein, ATPase enzyme is activated and this causes breakdown of ATP into ADP and inorganic phosphate, that is high energy phosphate, and this high energy phosphate causes extrusion of sodium from the inside to outside, extrusion of sodium from the inside to outside and potassium from the outside to inside of the cell, and this is the mechanism of action of sodium potassium pump. So, now I am going to make a definition of sodium potassium pump. It is an electrogenic pump which pump 3 sodium ion from the inside to outside and 2 potassium ion from the outside to inside with expenditure of energy with the help of carrier protein. This is sodium potassium pump. Now, I am going to discuss importance of the sodium potassium pump. Importance of sodium potassium pump. Importance of sodium potassium pump, it maintain cell volume, it maintain negativity inside of the cell, and it also maintain sodium and potassium concentration difference across the cell membrane. These 3 function is important because cell membrane is always negative and this negativity is maintained by the sodium potassium pump. It is the one of the important cause for negativity inside of the cell, and first important function of the sodium potassium pump is maintenance of cell volume, and it also maintain sodium and potassium concentration across the cell membrane. Okay. Now, I am going to maintenance of cell volume. How sodium potassium pump is maintain cell volume? প্রথমে আমি বলে নিই, in every cell in our body sodium potassium pump is present. Without sodium potassium pump cell volume is not maintained. so cell lysis occurs. So, every cell in our body sodium potassium pump must be present, and now I am going to how sodium potassium pump maintain cell volume. This is cell, okay, and this is the inside of the cell. So, there is presence of intercellular fluid, and outside of the cell there is presence of extracellular fluid, and inside of the cell there is presence of protein and different ions that are non-diffusible ion and that are negative charge, and they cannot diffuse through the cell membrane, and in the extracellular fluid there is presence of different cation. In the inside of the cell there is presence of protein and different ion that do not diffuse through the cell membrane, and they are negative charge, and for this negative charge they attract the positive ions, that is cation. When sodium move from the extracellular fluid to the intercellular fluid, water also move along with this sodium. Water also move. This movement of water in the movement of water is called osmosis. So, in the cell there is protein and other ion present, they do not diffuse through the cell membrane, they are negative charge, they attract the positive ion. When cation move into the cell, water, it causes osmosis of water inside of the cell. So, when water enter into the cell volume is rises and cell is swell. Cell volume is rises and cell is swell. When cell is swell, previously I told every cell have sodium potassium pump. This sodium potassium pump is auto activated. When cell is swell, this sodium potassium pump is auto activated. This auto activation of the sodium potassium pump causes 3 sodium ion move from the inside to outside, and 2 potassium ion move from the outside to inside of the cell. And when 3 sodium ion move into the inside to outside of the cell, water also move along with sodium. That means osmosis of water out from the cell. So, when water moves from inside to out of the cell, that is osmosis occur out of the cell. So, cell volume, their cell returns to their normal volume. By this process cell volume is maintained. This is cell volume is maintained. আমি আবার বলে দিচ্ছি, in the this question is very important. How cell volume is maintained? In the cell there is protein and another substance present that are negative charge and they do not diffuse through the cell membrane. This negative charge attract the cation from the outside of the cell. When cation move into the cell, osmosis of water, this causes osmosis of water into the cell. When osmosis of water into the cell occur, cell volume is rises and swell, and when swelling of the cell is occur, sodium potassium pump is auto activated, and this auto activation of the sodium potassium pump causes movement of 3 sodium ion from the inside to outside. When sodium move from inside to outside, water also move along with this sodium, and osmosis of water out from the cell, and cell volume returns to their normal level. By this process sodium potassium pump maintain the cell volume. And another special characteristic of the cell membrane is more permeable to the potassium than the sodium. Cell membrane is more permeable to the potassium than the sodium. For this reason, when sodium is moved from the inside to outside of the cell, sodium does not back to the cell. By this process sodium potassium pump is maintain cell volume. Then another important question is how sodium potassium pump maintain negativity inside of the cell. Sodium potassium pump is maintain negativity inside of the cell by this process, that is sodium potassium pump move 3 sodium ion from the inside to outside and 2 potassium ion from the outside to inside. So, in the inside কি হচ্ছে 3 sodium ion বের হয়ে যাচ্ছে move and 2 potassium ion entry হচ্ছে. So, in the inside এ হচ্ছে আমাদের there is loss of 1 positive ion. 1 positive ion is loss. For this region হচ্ছে negativity is maintained inside of the cells, মানে cell membrane is negative. That means sodium potassium pump, that is this is the inside of the cell. Inside of the cell 3 sodium ion move from the inside to outside and 2 potassium move from the outside to inside. So, there is loss of 1 positive ion inside of the cell. So, for this region sodium potassium pump maintain negativity inside of the cell. For this region sodium potassium pump is called electrogenic pump. হচ্ছে নেক্সট I discuss secondary active transport.